Hello, and welcome back to VarlmorChunk. And in the last episode, we got a Dizana's Quiver. But I didn't discuss at all what that means for this account and for the series going forwards. What does it change? Am I going to roll a chunk? Am I going to get the pet? What grinds does this add? Does it take away any grinds? That's going to be one of the main focuses of today's video. When I started this account, before Varlamore was even released, I knew the Colosseum was inevitable. It was something that drove excitement for the series, and in my mind, it was the most important thing for me to tackle, despite knowing nothing about the challenges it would hold. And when Varlamore launched, as well as progressing this account through the crafting, the fletching, the sand crabs, more crafting, I was simultaneously learning the Colosseum on another account, practicing, and strategizing for how I would take it on VarlomorChunk. And here we are, a whole year later. Soul is defeated, and the absolute pinnacle achievement on this account has been claimed. It's an odd feeling, knowing that the series may never again reach the heights that it did in the last episode. But at the same time, I also feel a unique bond to this account. We've been through a lot in this past year, on a journey that I never could have expected. And a journey on a road that, despite having crested its highest peak, has not come to an end just yet. So venture forth with me, into a future unknown. But I do, however, know what the next step on that journey is, because despite having achieved this prestigious item, I can't equip it yet. So let's visit our old friends, the sand crabs, and get that 75 range so we can do just that. Oh, here we go. Our sand crab ranging is about to come to an end. I just want to trap one over here so that doesn't cancel our interface. I'm sorry, Carrot. It's been really nice having you here, but you're going to be in the bank for a fair bit because I have a new thing to put on my back. There we go. 75 ranged. Oh. Members can now wield the Dizana's Quiver. Let's finish off the sand crab, and then here it comes. Oh yeah. Alright, let's run up to the bank and let's put some charges in this thing. Because of the new charge system, it means I'm not wasting splinters if I put them in before I get the full 150k. I can just go charge this straight away and start using it. And it actually fits with the outfit pretty well. Here we go, 10,000 splinters. That's all we managed to get from the whole time getting to the quiver. That's our total yield. That's how little we claimed. Alright, let's put in a giant number of those, meaning it's going to get more colour and it's going to give more buffs to our ammo that we shoot from it. Beautiful. Because I now have this quiver charged and can realistically farm sunfire splinters, I'm making it a chunk task to bless this quiver, and that requires 150,000 sunfire splinters, which is quite a lot. There are two ways people usually farm these sunfire splinters. The first is farming wave 1. Wave 1 always gives 80 sunfire splinters, and as you can see on my Ironman, completing this as I speak to you, I'm completing wave 1 in under 30 seconds every time. This gives me 160 sunfire splinters per minute. For simplicity, let's say 150, so it would take 1,000 minutes or just under 17 hours to charge my quiver. Let's look for an example time on VarlmorChunk. Coming in at just under 3 minutes, that's almost 6 times slower than my Ironman, putting this method at an estimated 100 hours of farming wave 1 to bless the quiver. The second method for obtaining 150,000 sunfire splinters is to farm Soul Heredit KC. Each quiver can be traded in for 4,000 sunfire splinters, plus the extra splinters from the run, put this method at approximately 25 runs. And because my first quiver came in at under 4 hours, this makes it faster than 100 hours, making it a more efficient method for getting splinters. However, I'm not going to be able to beat Soul every run, and if I get any spare quivers, I'm certainly not going to be trading them in for more splinters. I'm going to be gambling them for the pet. Speaking of the pet, am I gonna go for it? And what about the onyxes that Soul can drop? That could be a Fury and a regen brace for huge gear upgrades. Well, at the moment of recording this, I rolled my last chunk 175 days ago, the chunk that made the Colosseum possible. And in those 175 days, I have 2 attempts at Soul, with only one of those being successful. Now, unsurprisingly, I expect my next KC will take me less time than the first, but for a bit of fun, let's just extrapolate from the data we've got so far. With a 1 kill in 175 days, it would take 17,500 days. Or just under 50 years to reach the drop rate for the pet, with the drop rate for the 2 onyxes I could get being about 15% faster. I think it's fair to say that any of the Soul uniques are staying on the backlog. And, I'll take any opportunity I can to get another KC, I'm just not committing to getting anything from it just yet. And in other news for Colosseum uniques, I still need to get the Sunfire legs, and the absurdly rare Tenol sticks of Ralos remain on the backlog. With all that discussion out of the way, let's jump back in and farm out some Sunflies, but the orange things. We don't see splinters here, so we're just gonna confirm that loot, and that is just over a 5-minute wave because I'm spending so much time maging that Jaguar Warrior. Grab those, and we go back in, but we don't quite go back in. I want to change my setup a bit to look a bit nicer for doing specifically this. Okay, changes. We are not bringing in the shield, because I don't want to have to take it off for maging. We're bringing in a mage gear switch as well. Technically this setup can still go to Soul, but it's not optimized for going to Soul. It's just, if we just roll splinters every single wave the whole way through, I gotta be ready for that possibility. Alright, is this it? You going down? This has been a really interesting run, this one. I wasn't even planning to do, wave 1s, but there kept being good loot show up. And, I mean, that's kinda good loot, but, look at all those splinters and elks. We're gonna take that, yep. That's a claim. There is 87 woodcutting, and that's not the Colosseum crack. Get back in there. Okay. But just kidding, I'm actually going to go to the bank here and show you something that's in there. It is my U-log stack, which is currently just about 7,000. But this isn't just a chill AFK thing to do, cutting yew trees. This is actually a chunk task. Let's look back at my soul kill. And when I open the rewards chest here, I got dragon arrow tips. This triggers a 90 fletching requirement to make dragon arrows. But why wasn't this a chunk task beforehand though? Well, this dragon arrow tip shows up as part of a set of rare regular drops on the Colosseum loot table across waves 7 and 8. But they become much more reasonable to obtain upon completing waves 9 and 10. This rare regular loot table also includes high-level ores. I could conceivably get rune ore and get 99 smithing with the mine, furnace and anvil that I have access to, and make myself a rune plate body. But imagine this scenario, if you will. You complete wave 10 of the Colosseum, and you could go onwards and attempt the final wave to face one of the most prestigious and enjoyable bosses in the game, with insanely powerful drops and one of the coolest pets. But instead you decide to claim some ores and do 1,000 hours of the most archaic mind-numbing skills in the game. Well, I would never force myself to make that decision, so I've left these rare regular drops on the backlog. But if I beat Soul and happen to acquire one of these drops from one of the final waves, we'll figure out what that means for chunk tasks. And because that's exactly what happened with these dragon arrow tips, that's giving us a 90 fletching requirement, so I'll be cutting a lot of yew trees. Welcome to a Wave 5 completed. This is one of my unique runs, I'm calling them. I'm doing the Wave 1 farming, where I sometimes go to Wave 2 if there's splinters, and Wave 3 if there's splinters, or maybe some really good elks or something. But on my unique runs, these are the ones that I'm really trying to get the pants. I'm trying to get the Sunfire pants, but I'm trying to do so while claiming as many splinters as possible. So generally what I'm going for is I'm going to always complete Wave 5. My completion rate on Wave 5 is really good, so I can do that pretty consistently, honestly. However, at wave 6 my completion rate drops drastically, so at wave 5 I'm going to take stock, and I'm going to weigh what's in the next wave, which here is a pretty good one honestly. That's some big money that can pay for death runes, and you know, some point in the future I'm going to need GP, so it's good to get that while I can now. But I'm going to weigh the value of this against my current value so far, which is a pretty decent amount, but if we go look at it, it's all splinters. That's so good. So in this one, at this point, I'm going to claim. If instead I had really good loot next wave and really bad loot so far, that would be a keep going. And if it's really bad loot next wave and really bad loot so far, I'm going to switch to a third type, which is I'm going to go for a soul attempt and basically go as long as possible. But that one was a big old claim, and let's just restock on taters and head back in. So this is our second unique run, and next wave has something that I can't use, so we're going to ignore that. And let's check the loot so far. We've got gold ore, which I like, that's one loot I want, and the sunfire splinters from wave 1. This isn't good enough to spend all that time we've been in here so far just to claim, so this is turning into what I call a soul run now, meaning I'm going to go as far as possible, and I'm only going to claim if I get a unique. This is the first Minotaur I'm killing since getting the Quiver, and the Quiver is somewhere between a 20 and 30% DPS upgrade on a Minotaur, depending on what arrows I'm using, and it's been really nice. I'm really noticing the extra accuracy, and there's an extra max hit on it too. It feels so good. I think I was wrong before. I'm looking at a wave 7 completed with 500 Sunfire Splinters there. It is looking really tempting. Because wave 7's much easier than wave 6. If I beat wave 6, I might go to wave 7 and then think about loot again, but waves 8 through 12 is all insane. So maybe that's the point I lock in and not the hair. Yeah, I think I want that. We're gonna claim on a wave 7 and take those 500 splinters. We've got to wave 7 again, and we look at the loot, and oh my god, there's not many splinters, and the other stuff, take it or leave it. So we're committing, we're going for soul this run, and we're probably about to die. Here's a play I was really proud of on that same run, where I managed to on-tick the Ranger and the Mage First Manticore on the way down. And then when I got down here, check out what I do here. We flick this Manticore, but it's out of range from the pillar, so instead I set up an off-tick on the stack behind the pillar, and then do that off-tick while that Manticore's refreshing, which brings it into the pillar. And look at that, now I can melee it. Here's another new thing I tried. When taking a stack of 3 down across this side of the arena, when they get like halfway around, I stepped back out to try pull that Manticore inside, and that meant it peels only one off round the side, rather than both of those coming around. There is an interesting thing in this chest, and it's not the only reason that I decided to claim there. There was also some things and squares down the bottom that I didn't particularly like, but Dragon Bolts. It's our first time getting any Dragon Bolts, and that means that's now a chunk task to make Dragon Bolts. It's not the highest chunk task, we have to do the Dragon Arrows, which are an even higher level, but that means this. I wonder how much fletching XP that is. Actually, let's look that up, because the bolts are doable at 84, which is significantly earlier. And if I look that up on the wiki, making a Dragon Bolt gives 12 XP each, so that's like... Really? 12 XP each? Damn, that's not nearly as much as I thought, but that's like 2,400 XP. Actually, that's kind of fun. I like that. Whoa, we just got a bird's nest, and it had a spirit seed in it. That's super cool. I've been cutting yew trees, as there's going to be so much to do on that, but while we've been doing that, of course the random events have been coming in, and this one's a book of knowledge going in Slayer. There is level 40 Slayer. What does that unlock? Basilisks. Cool. And that means there is only one more Slayer check-in before we get the final level. We're going to 48, so there'll be a 45 check-in, and then after that, yeah, then we'll be done with the lamping, which, I mean, it's still a long way away. 8 levels is more than double the XP, but the XP rate goes up significantly as my level goes up too. 89 wood cutting, it's going well, and let's jump into the bank. I can show you how many yew logs I've got. I've been doing a lot of just cutting and just chilling while I've been testing the Sailing Alpha and playing other accounts and such, because we need to get like 50,000 logs, and we currently have just under 12,000. About a quarter of the way to go, just under. This set of little framey friends gives us 90 hit points. I was just cutting some yew logs and I came past here and there was a star. So we're gonna sit here and we're gonna mine it till it goes away. We got a double middle spawn with a ranged first manticore and a mage. So I came around this side and dealt with the Fremenix while the mage was on me, and then the reinforcements spawned. And I saw that the melee was behind the mage, so I ran back out here to trap the melee behind the mage, and I am really proud of that play. That feels really good, because this is I mean, it's only wave 4, and that's a nasty spawn. It probably would have been a run to the other pillar and spam food. That green bar is starting to look really full. It's looking really, really full. And when I get one more log, and who knows when that will be. I'm cutting with a myth axe, a yew tree. There it is! 90 wood cutting. It's a beautiful level. I love to see that. Anything in the level 90s is great. And that's our 1, 2, 3, 4th level 90. Nice. You can cut redwood trees, which I'm not actually that far away from. Because I'm assuming with Varlamore Part 3, we're going to be able to get up through here. And when we get through here, they're... Wait, where are they? There. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty far, but there's not like crazy grinds along the way, other than the Wakewaddle and the Perilous Moons. 97 thieving. Our other side track of woodcutting is paying off. We're probably going to go to 99 in this chunk, and that means we're 2 levels away. That was a lovely little thieving break. I think we're going to get back to some Colosseum and some wood cutting now, but really happy to have that done. And we've got one doable easy clue that can sit in the bank for a while. Go easy clue. Okay, I want to try something here. Usually, when I come around here and kill this friend, then these two are stacked up back to back, and I have to split them over to this pillar. But I want to try something, like if I see here, see how it's still stuck behind the mage? I think, maybe, if I come back here, it's going to come across. And then, if I get here fast enough, yeah, and they split on this pillar. Oh, I'm so glad that worked. New tech. I'm going to use that more in the future. I'm also almost out of food on wave 8, so this is unlikely to go far, but I've discovered new tech even this far into it. That's super cool. I love that. Holy splinters next wave. Oh, please, I want those. Oh yeah, we got it. That was a chill wave, and that's going to be a claim because we have 2 potatoes left, and that loot is looking super good. Unfortunate that we got to a wave 10 and a claiming there and aren't going for another soul attempt, but that many splinters is way too important, and I'll be honest, my chances are not looking the most fantastic. How much? Or did I just skip a random event like instantly? I hope not. 88 attack. That little bit of extra accuracy is always going to be really nice. And here is my final Colosseum attempt for this video. You can watch my inevitable demise as I bid you farewell. We didn't finish any big grinds this video, but there was a lot of planning and discussion that was very needed after I got the Quiver, so I think I cleared all of that up. But if you have any questions, please feel free to ask away in the comments. I always try to reply to as many as possible. I'm planning to have 3 more videos in this chunk, one when I achieve the Sunfire Fanatic legs, one when I bless the Quiver, and one when I get 90 fletching. And whichever one comes last will have our next chunk roll in it as well, which I'm excited for in many months. For the fletching grind, I plan to do a lot of that gathering new logs for it through forestry, and I'll be streaming that. So if you want to help or just hang out, you can follow my Twitch or join my community Discord, grab a forestry pack and come over and help out at the Varlamore yew trees on World 535. In fact, if you're watching this video as it comes out, I'll be going live on Twitch right after you finish this video. And as always, thank you so much to my YouTube members who are generous enough to support me that little bit more than liking or subscribing possibly can. Thank you to Jumbo and Scarlet, to Danny Boy Dallas, Smile LV, Phantump, Shiem, Parakiwi, Max, DI, Digidog SP, Noctiverse, Trogathor, Michael G, Tizzly, Happy Kirby, Mysil, Mumnoon, and Trevor Ritzka. Thank you guys so much. You've been so supportive recently. I'm gonna have to make this Colosseum scroll bigger somehow. So thanks again, and thank you to everyone else just for watching, and I will see you all again very shortly.